Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Akafa from John Samuel Estate. Here with me again is Mr. Richard Abao from Purple Premium Estates. Today, we're just briefly going to be talking about now that the property industry has been unlocked. What is it going to be like for us? What do we have to do? And I'll just let you go first, and we take it from there, Mr. Obama.
Okay. I mean, we're happy, very, very crucial. We're happy that at least we have seen, or we're seeing the end of the times of the crisis. And I think I mentioned before, I must commend the government for all the steps that they've taken, the moves that they've made. It's been unprecedented. Unprecedented means that they don't have anything to draw lessons from. Yes, they've had instances where they've had, this is quite unique. So I must commend them. It's not been an easy time to respond on a day-to-day basis, literally thinking on the job, and they've done quite well. I know.
Very impressive.
For political reasons, they've been criticized, as you'll expect, but we need to pat them back. Obviously, from the opposition government, I'm not. That's it would normally happen, but they've tried. They've done well. Their responses have been good. Now, we did say earlier on that when we were in the crisis, that was a major problem because we did not know we did not know when the end was going to be, how it was going to be, the impact that it would have had on the industry. I'm speaking especially about the property industry at the moment. And that was a major problem because time after time after time, when I get to speak to people, whether service providers, whether consumers, they had the same reason, the same sort of story. We don't know what's going to happen. There were questions that were not fully asked, but thankfully, those questions have been asked now. We can see, as it were, a ray of hope, and so everything is pretty much moving to the right in the right direction. It's not going to get back to normalcy immediately. It's going to be a steady process.
Yes.
But it's going to be progressive. So I think in my very first response to anybody, and I've already started to speak to people about that, you've got to be patient. You've got to, yes, the estate agents are allowed, they started to allow them to conduct viewings. Yes, surveys, they've given RICS, the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, the directives that they can now start to conduct surveys. But as you know, there are still restrictions in place, and the market does not work that way. It doesn't just respond instantly.
Absolutely.
The banks, the mortgage lenders, as you're aware, yes, they've had to withdraw some of their products that relied on physical valuations. It will take them a little bit of time to put those products back, all the products in its entirety back on their product list. So again, we've just got to be patient and we see how
that comes up.
How things happen. Now, in addressing the question you asked more specifically, now property in its own is quite a unique asset class. When you compare it, when you compare it to all the other asset class, so it is. We know that it's very illiquid in nature, so it can be converted into cash as quickly as perhaps you've got a car, you want to just quickly dispose of the car. You've got shares, you want to dispose of the shares. Property takes time. So it's quite different in the way it sort of, as it were, in the way it sort of operates. So I would say to people, there are a number of key things that you've got to learn and understand as a base point for property, and this is regardless of whatever you're doing. So number one, property is cyclical. It's long-term. Yeah. So yes, I do get buyers who come to me to say, it's now a good time to buy. I'll say something about that shortly. But I say, listen, regardless of whatever happens, people will always, and I'm being very basic now, people will always require where to stay. And the United Kingdom, to be specific, is an island, so which means that we're not creating more space.
Exactly.
But our population is going high, up and up and up and up as the day goes by. So that fundamental is very important. People will always require where to stay. That means that another fundamental, another principle is that there will always be demand for property.
Absolutely.
Albeit it is controlled by other factors, other environmental factors, but there will always be demand for property. That's number two. Now, generally, we were told when we started out in industry, the very first lesson I remember that I was told, I learned, was that when there is blood on the streets, buy property. When there is blood on the streets, buy property. So I say to people, yes, the market is good, fine. I'm happy. I'm joyful. I'm joyous. The market is, as it were, a bit shaky. I still buy property because that means that I can try and negotiate a good deal, whether we're buying out land or buying out a rundown property that we want to refurbish. I can negotiate a good deal. Now, it's not me within my own strategy to think, okay, you know what, this property that I managed to buy at a reasonably below market price. Do I want to hold that property for long? What can I use the property for? If I just want to go into the residential rental market, or if I want to go into, depending on the type of property, if I want to go into a commercial rental market, what do I do? Do I, within my strategy, I hold on to that long term, thinking at the back of my mind that property is cyclical, even if the market had a dip just recently, it would even out. I mean, you remember what happened in 2000, with the last recession, when initially the whole thing was crashing, and we're thinking, hang on a minute. In a very short space of time, we started to see double-digit increments in terms of market, in terms of the pricing. So all of these same principles apply. Crucially, people still require places to live. So again, we're looking at opportunities. We're thinking
exactly.
What else? Absolutely, my point. We talked about the commercial market as well. Yes, some companies that had to fold up, some companies are declining leases to extend. How does that present an opportunity for us? Are there spaces that perhaps we can go to landlords and say, excuse me, and say, what kind of structures can we put in place that will be mutually benefiting for all the parties? So we're thinking, we're doing, we're deploying, we're still on the drawing board, trying to, again, just respond. What's going to happen? What can we do? How can we take advantage? How can we take advantage of the opportunities available as it were to us now? Yes, we've talked about people lost loved ones. My heart goes out to them. Then let's see how we can move forward and pretty much prepare our economy. And again, we're entrepreneurs, we're businessmen and women, we're business professionals. We're looking for how to increase ourselves even financially. So again, this is a good opportunity for us to look at this and think, okay, how well do we take advantage? What do we do? In every negative, there's always a positive. It's for us to look for the positive out of this and pretty much run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Mr. Obao. That was a very good one, and you covered it from different angles depending on how one sees it. For me, I think what is vital now, I'm looking at it from the angle of knowledge, because people are panicking. There's a lot of chaos at the moment. Like we said earlier in our previous video, some buyers are not sure what to do. Some sellers are not sure what to do. And one thing, just like you commended the government, one thing I commend the regulatory board for the property mark. They've been so supportive. Every week we've had webinars. Every other day we've had Zoom meetings. And I think for us, that has helped us. And I think that's why when it was announced that the property industry was going to be unlocked, we didn't panic so much because we were already preparing us.
You were kept abreast right throughout the whole process.
Right support. And also when they've asked us to go back, there's preparations in place. They've helped us from the angle of what we need to tell our employees, what we need to know as business owners, what we need to know as property professionals. So I think that's helped us to be ready. But obviously, there's a difference between, like we said in the last video, there are two ways of, yes, you're thinking of something, but when you're actually in it, it's different.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, we are all still hoping that things get back to normal, but I think we need to also follow, like you said, step by step. And we just have to follow the procedure. There's a lot of guidelines that we have to follow as property professionals, even as business owners, because I believe yourself and we wear two caps. Apart from being property professionals, we're also business owners.
Absolutely.
We have to look at it from two different angles. And also, one of the things I spent time to do, like I said, knowledge. I looked at the first edition of my book, which I published 2016. I've
Okay.
had to update that because there's been so many regulations updated. Now we have over 178 regulations. You
Yeah.
can imagine in the private rental sector, and which is one of the reasons why I wrote the book in the first place, because I believe there was lack of knowledge, lack of understanding.
Yeah.
And when you're able to manage the expectations, which is what is happening now, the expectations, everyone is trying to manage the expectations of property professionals, business owners, and that is what the government is trying to do at the moment. And I believe that's been helpful as well. Like you rightly said, there's always a positive in every bad situation. It depends on how you, just like when some people were mourning during the Brexit period, it was another good time that a lot of people invested in.
Yeah.
And that's why, which is one of the reasons why I run the courses I run, because I believe sometimes people just buy properties, they don't even have a clear understanding of why. Because you should always ask yourself why. Why do I want to own a property? Why don't I want to remain a tenant? Why do I want to become a property professional? And I think once you're able to answer that why question, it helps. And which is the reasons, and which is one of the reasons why I do all those courses, so that people can have an understanding before going.
Well done for those, I'll be honest, right? Because I know it's time consuming for you as well, but in your thinking, how well can I put out information?
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Very, very key decisions on, because, I mean, property is big business, but I always say to people that the caveat I attach to that is it could mean big losses as well. It could
Absolutely.
Mean gains. We know that if you play the game right, but big losses if you don't know what
losses, especially when you don't seek the right advice. And I believe that's why there's a broken trust as well, because people have been victims of bad advice, and which is one of the reasons why it's always beneficial to clients gaining the right knowledge, right information. And also, one of the things I plan in terms of knowledge-wise is I do run a property surgery, so I've decided to do that virtually now until things return to normals, because right now everyone is still worried about.
Well, funny enough, sorry to interrupt you there. This might be the new normal. This might be
Exactly.
you might realize that, listen, there isn't any more need for me to hold my surgeries face to face.
Exactly.
I just say, you know what, okay, do it this way, it works. It works. So people, this might be the new normal, you don't know. Sorry to interrupt
absolutely. You. No, absolutely. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, either you follow what is going on, or you're left behind. You can imagine myself waiting and thinking, oh, okay, let me wait. I'm not sure what's going to happen. There's a lot of people that will benefit from, because the purpose of it is for people to benefit from it. And if there's a way that we can still have that meeting and people can benefit for it, then absolutely, why not? So those are my plans, just to adjust to the system, educate, because right now I think I'm sure you agree, there'll be a lot of questions, and we have to be prepared to help everyone. Some are not even aware of what is available or their entitlement at this period. Even some tenants will panic, my wage has just been reduced. How do I go forward with this? And at the same time, we also have to put ourselves in a situation of landlords. They want the rent to be paid. So that's why we need to educate both parties, help them understand what is available to them. But like you rightly said, people are still panicking one way or the other. But and also the government, one of the reasons why we are one of the very few that we've been asked to kickstart is because we can help boost the economy.
Absolutely.
So and so they put a lot of trust in us, and I'm hoping that we will deliver with the right help. And like you rightly said, the government has been fantastic. Property Mark has been excellent. Every day I keep receiving emails, and I'm sure you have as well, receiving emails, updates, and which is amazing, isn't it? So you're not left behind, you're not on your own. Sometimes we have weekly meetings, like catch up, business owners coming together and just talking about how their week has been. We learn one or two things from each other, which has been one of the ways everyone has survived. You've been able to find help. So I'm excited there's a lot of uncertainty. I wouldn't deny that,
Yeah.
but I'm looking forward to it. But like you, just follow the guidelines, and I'm sure we'll all be fine, isn't it, Mr. Bao?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you, everyone. I'm sure you've benefited from our conversation today. Like I said in the previous video, if you have any questions relating to property, and if we're unable to help you, even other matters, we can always point you in the right direction, because we work closely with some other professionals as well. So have a good day, and thank you, everyone. Once again, thank you, Mr. Bao, for joining me,
Thank you so
and
much.
have a good day.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you so
Stephanie
much.
Kaffer.